Hello everyone and welcome back for some more Drag Race gossip, secrets and drama. For today's video, I thought it would be interesting to ask Drag Race queens that I know if they would reveal how much they spent on preparing for RuPaul's Drag Race, and some of their answers might surprise you. And this includes queens such as Mrs. Kasha Davis, Pandora Boxx, and Anita Wigl'it. All that and more coming up in today's video, so let's get started. Please note that because we're going to be talking about the outcome of certain episodes of Drag Race, there is a spoiler alert in place for this video. So, as we all know, preparing for Drag Race is not only stressful for the queens, but it can also be very expensive. The queens usually need to have an outfit for every runway, plus outfits for mini challenges, as well as lip syncs and promos, and this can become very expensive. As Drag Race has evolved, the expectation has also evolved with it. In earlier seasons, queens wore a lot more off-the-rack clothing or fairly simple outfits compared to today's standards. However, queens nowadays are expected to have custom-made outfits, and this can be very expensive and difficult for the queens, especially if the queen is eliminated earlier in the season and doesn't get to show off all of their looks. And some queens do manage to not spend that much. For example, Shea Coulee revealed that she only spent $500 on season 9 because she made the outfits herself. But for a lot of the queens, if they are not good seamstresses, that's not really an option. There have been many articles over the years talking about how much queens have spent on their seasons, and the queens themselves have also talked about this in interviews or on social media, etc. For example, at a Roscoe's viewing party, US season 15 contestant Lucy LaDuca said that she spent around $20,000 for season 15. And at another Roscoe's viewing party for Canada vs. the World, Isis Couture revealed that she spent around $70,000 for that season. And this got me thinking about the drag queens that I know and how much they have spent, so I reached out to some of the queens that I know and asked them if they would be comfortable revealing how much they spent on their seasons. And although some queens told me that they didn't want to talk about it, many of them did, and some of their answers really surprised me, and I thought that it would make a really interesting video. And I'd like to say thank you to all of the queens who agreed to share this information with me for this video. I really appreciate it. So here is how much these 15 queens spent on RuPaul's Drag Race. Mrs. Kasha Davis. Mrs. Kasha Davis competed on season 7 of Drag Race US and placed 11th after being eliminated in episode 5. When I asked Kasha how much she had spent on season 7, she couldn't remember exactly but guessed that it was somewhere in the region of $5,000 to $10,000 US. But Kasha made the point that drag was very different back when she filmed season 7 in 2015, and the current season queens probably spend more like anywhere between $5,000 to $60,000. And Kasha said that for a cute, simple cut stretch fabric custom made gown, it would cost around $150 to $400. And once you add better fabric and elaborate design concepts, you're looking at more like $1,500 to $3,000 per gown. Kasha also made an interesting point and said that some designers don't jump at the opportunity to design for older plus-size queens who don't have a huge social media following. And she even said that some designers didn't respond back to her when she contacted them with an inquiry about making an outfit for her. And Kasha said that for season 7, she used a lot of her own garments, and she even bought some stuff from Sequin Queen, which is an online retail store that sells sequin outfits at pretty affordable prices. Reggy B. Reggy B competed on season 2 of Drag Race Holland and placed 9th after being eliminated in episode 2. Reggie said that for Drag Race, she spent around 10,000 euros, which is around 10,500 US dollars. And Reggie said that her outfits varied greatly in price depending on the fabric and materials used. And although Reggie couldn't remember her specifically, she would imagine that her Beauty and the Beast inspired outfit that she would have worn for the Monsters Ball in episode 3 would have been her most expensive outfit because of how elaborate it is. And it's a shame that she didn't get to wear it on Drag Race, and she said during my interview with her that it's also hard to find an opportunity to wear an outfit like that outside of Drag Race. Beverly Kills. Beverly Kills competed on season 2 of Drag Race Down Under and placed 5th after being eliminated in episode 6. Beverly said that when she got cast on the show, she was 20 years old and was a broke student, and she didn't own a lot of drag at the time. So she had to go out and buy a lot of wigs and shoes in different colours that she didn't already have in her collection. And Beverly said that overall for Drag Race plus photo shoots after the show, she spent around 6,500 Australian dollars, which is around 4,300 US dollars. Beverly also said that this included the price of some stuff that she already owned, such as some of her wigs, as well as her outfit for the girl group challenge in episode 5. I asked Beverly if she used a designer to make her outfits, and she said that her friend and mentor, Mandy Moobs, made most of her outfits and Beverly helped plan and design them. And for her fly look in episode 2, Beverly said that the fabric was actually more expensive than the actual construction of the outfit. And Beverly's yellow and blue octopus outfit that she used for the premiere took the longest to make because she painted and stoned it by hand. Océane Aqua-Black. Océane Aqua-Black competed on Canada's Drag Race Season 2 and placed 11th after being eliminated in Episode 2. Océane said that she spent around 30,000 Canadian dollars on Drag Race, which is just under 22,000 US dollars. And Océane said that Drag Race was a very expensive experience for her and she is still paying for it now. Océane said that her circus look, which she wore in episode 2, was probably her most expensive look. And she also said that her look for the 7 Deadly Sins runway, which she would have worn in episode 6, as well as her Dungeons and Drag Queens runway, which she would have worn in episode 7, were her 2 other most expensive outfits. And Océane said that all of her looks were custom made specifically for Drag Race, and although they were expensive, she understood that it was all part of the game of being on Drag Race. Anubis. Anubis competed on Drag Race UK Season 3 and placed 12th after being eliminated in the first episode. Anubis said that for Drag Race she spent around £18,000, which is around 21,500 US dollars. And Anubis added that this was her entire life savings / earnings. And although Anubis didn't get to show many of her looks on the show, she shared her unaired looks on Instagram, and we can see how elaborate and intricate a lot of her outfits were, so it's easy to see how she spent so much money. And as a separate point, I think it's important to note that Drag Race UK does not have a monetary prize because it's produced by the BBC, which is a publicly funded channel, and no BBC shows are therefore allowed to be sponsored. And so for the UK queens, going on Drag Race is an even bigger investment because there's no chance of receiving any kind of monetary prize at the end. And I know that some UK queens spent upwards of around £25,000, which is just under 30,000 US dollars, so it is a huge investment. But the reason the queens go on the show, of course, is to try and increase their exposure and hopefully make the money back in the form of bookings and publicity. Spankie Jackzon. Spankie Jackzon competed on Season 2 of Drag Race Down Under and was the winner. Spankie said that for Drag Race, she spent around 12,000 New Zealand dollars, which is around 7,400 US dollars. Spankie said that around 6 of her 14 total outfits were custom made for Drag Race. And although Spankie couldn't remember exactly, she thinks that her most expensive outfit was her Fly Girl Insects runway in episode 2. And also her Opposites Attract pineapple pizza look, which was used in the episode 7 makeover challenge, was also very expensive. Vanda Miss Joaquim. Vanda Miss Joaquim competed on Season 2 of Drag Race Thailand and placed 4th/5th after being eliminated in episode 11. Vanda said that for Drag Race Thailand, because she's from Singapore and lives there, she had to pay for her own flights to Thailand so she could film the show. Vanda said that she spent approximately 10,000 Singapore dollars, which is around 7,400 US dollars. And Vanda added that the majority of her budget was spent on flights, transportation, accommodation and food, so she didn't have much money left for the outfits. And because of that, Vanda had to reuse and make do with whatever she already owned. And what I thought was interesting about this is that Vanda said that she had to pay for her own transport, food and accommodation. However, on other versions of Drag Race, as far as I know, this is all provided by the show and the contestants don't have to pay for things like that. And another interesting thing that I read online was that Vanda, as well as her fellow season 2 sister Mocha Diva, had to keep going back to their home countries, which are Singapore and the Philippines respectively, because they needed to get more materials and outfits. And I asked Vanda about this and she confirmed that it was true, and she said that during the filming of the competition, she had to keep flying back to Singapore because she still had to work in order to have the money to sustain herself after the competition. And Vanda also said that she had to go back to Singapore to prepare her outfits for the reunion and the finale. So this just shows you how different the production was on Drag Race Thailand compared to the other franchises of Drag Race. Kiara. Kiara competed on Canada's Drag Race Season 1 and placed 8th after being eliminated in episode 5. Kiara said that for Drag Race, she spent around 10,000 Canadian dollars, which is around 7,300 US dollars. And Kiara said that almost all of her looks were custom made specifically for Drag Race. However, Kiara said that for the Not My First Time runway in episode 2, she already owned that outfit from before the show, so that was at least one outfit that she didn't have to have custom made for the show. Coco Jumbo. Coco Jumbo competed on season 1 of Drag Race Down Under and placed 9th after being eliminated in episode 3. Coco said that for Drag Race, she spent around 10,000 Australian dollars, which is around 6,600 US dollars. Coco added that because season 1 of Drag Race Down Under was filmed during COVID, she didn't have very much work and therefore didn't have much money. So she ended up having to borrow a lot of money from her mother. Coco said that her wigs were also quite expensive and had to be styled, and she also said that everything was custom made for Drag Race except for the purple corset that she wore in the girl group challenge in episode 3. Eve 6000. Eve 6000 competed on season 2 of Canada's Drag Race and placed 8th after being eliminated in episode 5. Eve said that for Drag Race, she spent around 12,000 Canadian dollars, which is around 8,700 US dollars. Eve said that luckily she had 2 people who were kind enough to loan her money so that she could prepare for Drag Race because she was pretty much broke at the time. And Eve also said that her designers were on partially deferred payments, which meant that she was able to finish paying them back after the filming of Drag Race. Eve also said that her lion look for the Circus Berserkers runway in episode 2 was probably her most expensive outfit due to the material and labour costs involved in making it. And Eve said that she tried to keep each of her outfits under the equivalent of around 1,000 US dollars, but she said that fabric in Canada is much more expensive than it is in the US, which means that drag in general in Canada is usually very expensive. Another interesting thing that Eve said is that she purchased a corset for the equivalent of around 500 US dollars from someone who has made corsets for some very high profile Drag Race queens. But the corset was apparently the wrong size and fell apart after only 4 fittings. Minnie Cooper. Minnie Cooper competed on season 2 of Drag Race Down Under and placed 7th after being eliminated in episode 4. Minnie said that for Drag Race, she spent approximately 6,000 Australian dollars, which is around just under 4,000 US dollars. And Minnie said that because she had limited funds, she had to be smart about her choices, and she used a few outfits that she already owned. For example, Minnie's entrance look was something that she had from years before, but she used it because it fit the theme of racing and the show is called Drag Race, so she felt that it would work perfectly for that purpose. Minnie also said that she already owned the looks that she used for her bottomless brunch challenge in episode 3 as well as her finale look. And Minnie said that if you added up how much she spent on the outfits that she already owned and then added that to how much she spent just for the Drag Race outfits, it would probably be triple what she originally spent, and it would be somewhere in the region of around 12,000 US dollars. But Minnie added that although it's a lot of money, she understood that going on the show was a good way for her to show people her style of drag, as well as increase her exposure to audiences that didn't already know her. Gisèle Lullaby. Gisèle Lullaby competed on season 3 of Canada's Drag Race and was the winner. Gisèle said that for Drag Race, she spent just under 10,000 Canadian dollars, which is around 7,300 US dollars. Gisèle said that around 8 of her looks were made by designers and then she finished them off herself, and then the rest of the outfits she made totally herself. In terms of her most expensive outfit, Gisèle said that it was probably her Coronation Eleganza look from episode 9. And Gisèle also said that the jacket that she wore for her dystopian drag look in episode 7 was also one of her most expensive outfits. Anita Wigl'it. Anita Wigl'it competed on season 1 of Drag Race Down Under, where she placed 8th, and she also competed on Canada vs. the World, where she placed 7th. Anita said for Drag Race Down Under season 1, she spent the equivalent of around 6,000 US dollars. And for Canada vs. the World, she spent around 9,000 US dollars. And in general, Anita said that she tried to do everything as cheaply as possible due to the fact that she had limited funds. Anita said that her Arctic Fox Lady look from Canada vs. the World episode 3 was actually her unused finale look from Drag Race Down Under season 1. Anita also said something interesting about her entrance look for Canada vs. the World. Anita said that it was worth around 6,500 US dollars because it had about 3 kilograms, which is around 6.5 pounds, of Swarovski stones and 25 meters or 82 feet of Italian-made wedding fabric. And Anita said that this dress was gifted to her by a New Zealand designer named Karen Walker, and it was made and designed specifically for Anita. However, Anita said that she had to give it back after filming because she never actually owned the outfit, it was just a loaned outfit, even though it was custom made for Anita. Miss Moço. Miss Moço competed on season 3 of Canada's Drag Race and placed 11th after being eliminated in episode 2. Miss Moço said that although up till now she had never publicly said how much she spent on Drag Race, she didn't mind sharing with me that she spent around 20,000 Canadian dollars, which is around 14,500 US dollars. Miss Moço also said that all of her outfits were custom made just for Drag Race, which equated to around at least 12 custom made outfits. Pandora Boxx. Pandora Boxx competed on season 2, All Stars 1 and also All Stars 6, where she placed 5th, 11th and 6th respectively. For season 2, Pandora said that she didn't remember what she spent because they got very little direction, and so they didn't really know what they would really need to bring with them. But Pandora added that she made most of her outfits for season 2 herself. The only one that she didn't make herself was her reunion car outfit, which was made by designer Marco. Pandora also said that for All Stars 1, they were given a list of 18 outfits that they might need. But then there was the twist of the queens getting put into teams, so the outfits they bought were basically not even used. For All Stars 6, Pandora said that they shot it during the beginning of the pandemic. And they only had 3 weeks to get the outfits together, which was around 16 to 18 total looks, plus additional looks for performances and promos, etc. Pandora said that it was tough to get it all done with basically no job at the time because they couldn't do live shows due to the pandemic. And Pandora added, quote, "Let's just say my credit card debt was quite large." Pandora also said that it's kind of crazy that you have to get in debt to go on a TV show. Although Pandora did say that eventually she did pay it all off, and thankfully drag performers are now able to work again. Pandora also said that her entrance look for All Stars 6 was her most expensive outfit ever. And for her pop art look on All Stars 6, they had some difficulties with it and Pandora had to do a last minute different dress instead. Overall, Pandora estimated that over the 3 seasons she competed in, she probably spent somewhere in the region of tens of thousands of US dollars. So there you go, there was a video about me asking drag queens how much they spent on RuPaul's Drag Race. If you'd like to get access to my videos before they go on YouTube, as well as shoutouts in my videos, priority when submitting interview questions, and also access to my archived videos, you can join my Patreon for just a few dollars a month to unlock these incredible benefits. I'll put a link in the description. And I'd just like to say thank you so much to all of my incredible Patreon members. Your support is really amazing and it really does make such a huge difference to my channel, so thank you all so much. So, did any of these costs surprise you, and if so, which one? And do you think that spending that much money on Drag Race is worth it? Let me know in the comments. Please make sure you like, comment and share this video as it really helps support my channel. And of course, please make sure you hit the subscribe button to stay up to date about new uploads. Thanks for watching and I hope you'll join me again in future videos. Thank you, bye!